You decide. 2012, Vice President Joe Biden and Paul Ryan took the stage in Danville, Kentucky for their one and only debate last night. Only chance we got to see this. They tackled a lot of topics, including the economy and taxes.
And they're holding hostage the middle-class tax cut because they say we won't continue the middle-class tax cut unless you give the tax cut for the super wealthy.
Our entire premise of these tax reform plans is to grow the economy and create jobs. It's a plan that's estimated to create 7 million jobs.
Here we go. Fox 40 political analyst Gary Dietrich joins us live on Big Red Couch to talk about the debate last night. So, give me your review.
Well, you know, you look at the numbers all over the map, man. I mean, you got 20-point swings, no joke, Paul, in the polls taken afterwards. Got to be careful these days. Why? Because some of those were online polls, some were registered voters, some uncommitted voters. Bottom line, I think a draw. Does it move the needle on the national polls? No. Does it move the needle in another important way? Yes. Joe Biden fired up the Democratic base. That was exactly his mission last night. That's what he needed to do. He got it done. Yeah. Paul Ryan held his own. That's what he needed to do. I can go toe-to-toe with the vice president. I'm vice presidential material. He got it done.
Yeah, one of the really famous moments in political media history, we talk a lot about it, 1960, Kennedy versus Nixon, and you know how this goes. People who watched it on TV thought Kennedy won because he was cool and calm and collected, and Nixon was sweaty. People who listened on the radio thought Nixon was won because they thought he made better points and was stronger. Is there any chance this is one of those? Because we're hearing so much about the Biden smirk, the Biden laughs, and there are some people who really didn't care for it. And yet, I think if you just listened, he was very, very forceful in last night's debate.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I said that this morning already. You know, it's one of these deals where I think you got 3 different audiences now for debates, Paul. This is a weird thing. TV, radio, and then the people that didn't watch or hear it, and they're reading about it afterwards, right? Yeah. And they're making impressions based on the morning after stuff. 3 different audiences, and I think you're going to get 3 different results. I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
I think that smirking, the smiling, the anger and stuff doesn't come across, certainly in the morning after analysis, and not on the radio. So I think Biden will do better there, but on TV, it looked a little over the top to a lot of people, including commentators right afterwards. Yeah. You know, Vice President really kind of, if the President didn't drink enough coffee last week, maybe Biden, the triple shot latte was a little bit too much last night.
Yeah, also, and you and I talk about this a lot, we're a very divided country, and there's a big camp on the right and a big camp on the left, and it's a narrow slice down the middle. It's going to decide this election. Last night, if you were a Biden fan, you loved him. Last night, if you were a Ryan fan, you loved him. People in the middle, do we know what they think? One of those polls focusing on them?
Well, one of the web polls had uncommitted voters, and that's the one that went 20 points in Biden's favor. But I think we're going to have to watch some of the battleground state polls. I mean, Romney and Ryan, both in Ohio, that is ground zero right now, Paul. I'm going to be watching key battleground state polls in the next couple of days to see if the needle moves. But really and honestly, Biden had one mission: re-energize the base, who after last week with the president said, man, this is an unmitigated disaster. He did that. It sets the stage next week for the town hall debate between the big boys and, you know, as they say in the old school, Nellie bar the door.
Yeah, next week will really
I don't know what that means, but get the bars out.
I've heard it too, though.
Yeah, because the door's got to be barred. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a free-for-all next week. And the town hall format will definitely lend itself to even more mixing it up.
Yeah, rolling up some sleeves.
Yeah,
they've actually done that in some of those presidential debates in the past. So, Gary Dietrich, it's always a pleasure. Citizen Voice, search that on fox40.com. Great resource as the election gets closer, and I always point this out, especially as we look at our propositions, which can be so confusing. The work you guys do at Citizen Voice is just great.
And a lot of people don't know this, but I am tweeting real time now during the debates.
Okay.
So at Gary Dietrich, you can follow me, and that's kind of fun too. People are feeding back, and we're getting some interesting stuff real time during the smirks, laughs, and other assorted points.
Great to have you here, Gary. Always. Thank you very much, sir.